Okay, excellent. I think we will get going. Welcome everyone, and thank you for joining us today. We're delighted to host this webinar highlighting the incredible work our product development team have been doing for over 2025. Over the past year, the team has been really focused on innovation, performance, and enhancing the overall customer experience with AccountsIQ. So what I'm going to start off with is I'm going to introduce our speakers. I'm Danielle Cahill, Head of Partnerships, and I'm also overseeing the account management team who looks after our customers directly. I'm also joined by Sinéad, Brennan and Dack from our product team, who will be really taking us, giving us their key updates and taking us behind the scenes and showing us some of their product features that they have developed and really kind of giving you some understanding onto why they've created things in specific ways. And we're also looking for some feedback from today's session as well. I'm also going to give you a quick company update and including how you can contact your account managers directly. And then I'm going to hand over to Sinéad and Ellen, who are going to give us a product update. So they're going to go through some of the key features that have been released this year. That is the new homepage that has just been released. We're going to talk about workflow approval and the PO email automation. And then we're going to go back and look at some of the new dashboards that we've created that are bringing in the non-financial metrics that we've been asked for over the recent years. We're going to have a little few minutes on the side navigation bar and how we're going to update this. And then we'll lead on to some discussions about future ideas and roadmaps. And of course, we will conclude the session with a Q&A. So as we're going through this session, please feel free to add some questions into the Q&A section within Zoom. And we are hoping, as long as we have time, but we should have some time, that we will answer those questions live within the webinar. Okay. So with that, just a little quick update on AccountsIQ. So we're really in a growth phase, which is great. We've got over 1,000 customers. We've got over 10,000 entities and we've got over 20,000 users, which is just great to see that there's so many people using the system on a daily basis. Our focus is and will continue to be on the mid-market sector, essentially. And essentially within our team as well, we are growing. So at the moment, I think we are on 146 staff, which is great, but we are continuing to grow this and we have aims to be over 200 by 2026. So just moving on, some of you may be aware that we have had recent investment over the last 12 months. And with that, it's just provided a lot of opportunity for us. So again, just talking about the team growth, we are aiming to be over 200 by next year, essentially. And this will enable us to kind of enhance our product and our services and how we run AccountsIQ. So one of our areas focus is around AI and then also automation, which we're going to touch on today about how we can automate some of those day-to-day processes. We're also going to look at product integrations as a key feature and how we can build our own ecosystem with AccountsIQ being central to that. And this investment has also given us an opportunity to acquire a new company, and it now sits under the AccountsIQ umbrella. And that is an expense management tool, which enables your staff to submit and claim their daily expenses, essentially. Okay, so just a little note on account managers. So we have now created a new account management team. Some of you may have already met your account managers, Chris, Paddy and Keith. So they've got their little photos on the screen there now. But these are here to look after your everyday need. So for your general issues, bugs, fixes, or anything like that, we would always recommend you go directly through support because that will create a case for you and we'll be able to track the progress of that. However, your account management team are really there for more hands-on support. So they really want to talk to you about how you're using AccountsIQ. Can they help you with embed any new features, any new processes? Again, some of the items that come out of today, if you want to learn more about them and start implementing some of these new, like for example, the workflow approval process, it would be a good idea to reach out to your account manager and ask them to assist with embedding that new process. So they'll also help you with support, coordinating support activities if you need anything to be escalated, booking in some training sessions, any professional services you might require, and really helping you to get the most out of AccountsIQ, essentially. So just a quick reminder of how you would contact your account management team. It's all within the menuing system within Product, whereby you can click onto the help icon. It'll bring you into your help hub and go into your My Accounts IQ, and it will bring you into a section where you can meet your account manager. You'll be brought into their Calendly link, so you will be able to book in a quick 15 minutes to touch base with them at any point in time. Okay, so that was just a quick overview of where we are at, and I'm going to now hand over to Sinead and Ellen to talk us through some of these really nice new product features that we've released.
And we're on. Danielle, thank you very much for that. Sound okay? Yep,
All good.
all good. Thank you very much. Guys, firstly, thanks for attending today. I'm getting the pleasure to, I suppose, introduce or today, like I'm getting the opportunity to walk you through our new user homepage. I'm going to share my screen now, but it's a feature designed to completely kind of aid how finance teams start their day in AccountsIQ. I suppose before I kind of get into the live demo, I'm just going to like give a bit of a position on the whys and the problems we're trying to solve. So I suppose traditionally when users log in and they're met with a vast product like AccountsIQ, you know, it requires multiple clicks to find what actually needs the user's attention. Obviously, you know, when you get used to the product and you get familiar with it, that becomes easier, but it's still designed for the new and the existing users to kind of transform the experience by turning a landing page, a homepage into what acts like a command center for actions and insights. Now, it's the kind of foundation because we've a lot of, and I'll touch on after the demo why we're kind of, this is the first phase. It's like the MVP. It's getting it out there, but it is the kind of laying the foundations for some features that were actively asked for, like month-end close, task lists, assigning tasks to users, and a more collaboration tool. So yeah, I suppose I'm going to share my screen now, and then we can talk through some of the kind of the reasons why we went down the route. So can everyone see my screen?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
Good stuff. So we're in one of the lovely kind of master demo data sets that our technical pre-sales people use, and hopefully we'll give you a really good insight into the features that we're demoing today. So I've just logged into an entity, which is something that, you know, you all do every day. And you can see here that there's a new home page icon. Okay, so if I click on that homepage icon, it's just important to say that every time you log into the system or navigate from the system, we're not going to bring you back. First login of the day should bring you here to present what will hopefully be your main activities and your main insights based on your persona and how you use the system. Okay, as you can see here, I have a blank screen because this is what the experience will be like in a brand new homepage. What we have here, it is a beta feature, okay, at the minute. So we're still kind of working through, we're still adding new tiles every day. But you can see here, there's a guide me, there's in-product help with a guide me tool. I'm just going to take you through that experience and show you what it will be like when the homepage is launched, okay? So it's just an introduction to your homepage, and it's you can create a customized view, and it's all based on your existing permissions. And we'll talk about what the difference with the dashboards are, because a practice administrator in your system would have to assign your dashboards to view today. These are based on existing permissions that you have today. So it's there's a lot of flexibility built in. So if we click next, you can add to your homepage. It's going to guide you through how you add stuff to your own homepage, and it's unique per user. Okay, so if I add here, you can see that I met with a tiles library. And then you're guided within the activity tile, open each module and select your tiles. Okay, so if I open the section, you can see that in AP, I have a number of tiles. Okay, so I can start based on the title and the information that I'm provided, I can start adding activity tiles to my homepage. Okay, you can see AP inbox. 9 documents to be processed. So if you can kind of, it's like a little area in which you know what you're responsible for. My orders, for to be approved. PO tracker. Okay. So if I'm adding the tiles based on my frequently used actions, you can see that I'm starting to gather a picture of what's awaiting to be actioned. Okay. So I can select multiple tiles here, and you can see I start to kind of fill out my homepage with different activity tiles. Okay, so I can go down to AOR. Now, it's just worth knowing that this is a beta phase. This is the kind of we've based these tiles off on the most frequently used actions in the system. What could be in your tiles library is pretty endless, and that's where we're hoping you come in. So behind that beta badge, what we're hoping to do is put an in-product guide, and if you want more tiles, you can tell us what's useful to you in your day. But as I go down through my list, I can kind of add tiles associated to AOR, AOR invoices, recurring invoices, another one, SO trackers, and quotes. So as you can see, I'm starting to build up a picture of the amount of tasks that's outstanding in the system for me to perform. There's some here on bank accounts, the number of bank accounts, and we're actually going into the, your bank feeds and transactions. There's a tile coming that will drive you down to, you can select a bank from within the tile filter, and it will bring you directly to the bank import screen where you can action your stuff. So it's like these little mini shortcuts, but it also gives you a lovely overview. So if I pick my FX revaluation and VAT return, they're designed to give you the last return date. Okay. So when we launched NewNav, a couple of the kind of biggest things with the new navigation was I can't find my FX revaluation journal or my managed financial periods and whatever based on where they were laid out in the system. What we've done is we've taken that and we front-ended a tile so you can directly see what was the last FX revaluation run or what was the last VAT return run, and we'll be doing that for the period management as well. So if I just close my click through, so if you actually go through, it'll say click into insights, and your insights are designed to give you visual, okay, more visual insights, okay. And these are of a live view. These are a very live view as in point in time today. So as I said, we've dashboards, which we can navigate into later, that have some of the same metrics, but they're based on a financial period or a particular point in time. You can select a period, you can select a due date. This is a live view of a snapshot of where things are at now. So I can go and I can click, I can top 5 suppliers. We have a few nice ones. How long for you as a business does it take you from the day the PO was raised to when it was paid? And it gives you an average amount of days. It sets the mind that if you actually do want to reduce that you can. Now we'll be putting tooltips in to show you how these are calculated based on the data range and the time period range. So if I just kind of click down through some more visuals and add it to my homepage, my debtor aging is here, debtor days, top 5 overdue. Okay, so as you can say, it's quite, purchase accrual is a nice one. So essentially, we have a purchase commitment report that is heavily used in the system today. So if I just going to close this guide, and basically you can see that has walked you through that, and essentially it's given you how we can customize a dashboard. Okay. So let's just talk about, now that I have activity tiles and insights tiles in my homepage, okay? Drive through some actions, okay? I was just mentioning this purchase accrual tile. We have a report in the system, the purchase commitment report, and it's one of our heavily used reports. And it's designed to obviously show you the array of transactions that have been committed to. So it's POs approved, deliveries not yet invoiced, and invoices approved as well. So everything that's been committed, that will sum up the amount of documents that's in your product, and it'll show you the value of those documents for an accrual basis. So if you can imagine you're in here and there's more tiles coming, like I said, and you can have like a gross profit margin and number, and you can have net profit margin number. So if you could honestly see, if at a live view, if you had your net profit, you could have your accruals number, you can actually come back to your true net profit by a very, very quick insight into these tiles. So we're going to kind of dive down into a few now. So you can see here the AP inbox traffic. naturally you would have navigated to AP through the submenu, through the tab to get here. So I've 9 to be processed. So if I drill down here, that's going to bring you directly to the 9 for review and moving on through the AP process. Okay, so you get an idea that all these are drill downs. Okay. Just based on the refreshing, okay, so what we've done is we've added a cache and you can see the last time your homepage has refreshed, okay? Some of these widgets are pulling a lot of data, okay, especially around your kind of your debtors and your aging. So we've actually introduced a manual refresh in the page as well. Because essentially, if we just take a few of the commonly used actions, okay? So if I am driving down into
my purchase orders,
yeah, I think my purchase orders, yeah, to be approved. Now they're my purchase orders, and if I drill down through to my purchase orders now, what I'm seeing, and if I look at my my Metro map, these are waiting me for approval. So they're my purchase orders to be approved. And that's what the tile tells me. Now there's different purchase orders around what's waiting to be posted or delivered or invoiced, but this particular one is around approval. So I'm going to register my approval. And I'll do the same on this one. Sorry, I resubmitted that instead of registering it, and I'm going to approve. Okay. Now, as I navigate back to my homepage, I can hit the manual refresh here. Now we're working on performance at the minute. This is quite a heavy dashboard. You can see 0 to be approved. Okay, as this has been actioned. Let's perform. So you can
that actually has moved as well from 63 to 65
exactly.
now.
So you can see an efficiency score, and I'll talk you through how these are calculated. We put an in-product tooltips to show you. Nice one here is reoccurring invoice. It's something to be generated as well. You just get there quicker. Okay, generate the invoice, and it's very easy to so you can see the numbers and you can do a manual refresh as well. So you can kind of get the sense of where it's bringing you to AR accounts overdue. That brings you to a filtered view of every AR account, and we have the same on AP that have overdue invoices. Okay, so you can kind of get a view and drive your action. So it's aimed to bring you into the system. Kind of take a look at this approval efficiency score. This widget is only available with our new workflow approval engine. And what it's designed to do is give you a position based on the efficiency of your approvals around when documents are created and without manual intervention. So obviously if there's constant manual interventions and resubmissions, and when I hand over to Ellen later on, she'll be talking about a new feature around approval reminders. But if I just go to one of my most used actions, and let's action some invoices that we've.
Do you want me to approve that invoice?
Yeah, Ellen, that'd be great. Yeah, and we can if you can approve the 2 of those, and we work through how that impacts on the day-to-day approval efficiency score.
Refresh the screen.
Yeah, I'll post this one.
Yeah,
and if you could approve the other one.
So what's the date on that?
Today's
15.
date.
Okay.
Yeah. You had a filter on, did you?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm approved as well, and I post. Yeah. So if I navigate back to my homepage, guys, and with a refresh, you can. I just do a bit of a manual refresh. You can see here that actively the gauge is looking at the documents that are being processed, and we can obviously provide you the information on how that's being calculated, like I said. A nice snapshot view of creditor aging and credit. Now, the difference between, if I can kind of drive down into the dashboards, if I go to creditors, this is a live view, but some of the dashboards that we're seeing is like it's on period basis as well. Okay, so you can kind of pick previous financial periods. Your homepage is always a live view at where you are at a point in time. Okay, as I said, a lot more widgets coming. Okay, and a lot more, I suppose, a need to kind of listen to our customers and what they'd like to see here. So just the kind of about like what we're hoping problems that it solves, like with kind of a big, wide open, complex system navigation. So we want to reduce the amount of time wasted. We want our users to be able to get to live tasks a lot quicker. Okay, we want immediate visibility into key financial metrics. Okay, real-time actions, view, and grabbing information just when you need it. And each user, remember, is a personalized homepage for what they carry out actively every day based on their current permissions and the system. So this will be configurable by day one per user. Okay, so this is phase one. We're delivering action tiles, insights tiles, the personalization, and hopefully the ease of adoption. You can see how easy it is to kind of add widgets, just to kind of give you an insight into how easy it is to remove them. Okay, very kind of user-friendly way. If you're kind of, you don't need as much in your homepage, you can just easily take them out, just have a view. There's a lot more of this library to come, but we want to validate them with their users. So we could go off building all sorts, okay? But what we want to build is stuff that's valuable to use. So we will have an in-product guide to say, well, what would you like to see in here? So the vision and where we're headed with this feature, and the broader evolution is how teams manage the month-end close and the finance task managers. So future phases will lean towards full task orchestration, the assignment of tasks, the owners of tasks, the progress, and automated reminders, and dependencies, and more collaboration, more ways in which you can collaborate on where things are, and cross-ledger insights, and process together with highlighting bottlenecks and more future-looking insights. So this is foundational. We're hoping you see the value, and while this is the first phase, and we're hoping it's paving the way for something much bigger in the future. And it becomes like an intelligent hub for managing activities and financial performance in a live view. Okay. I'm really hoping that gave you a good insight into the homepage. I'll be back, but I'm gonna hand over to Ellen now to kind of go through workflows and stuff like that. And obviously we'll be answering questions. So any questions that has come in over the homepage, we'll answer them towards the end. Thank you very much. I'm going to stop the share. Thank you.
And I will share my screen.
Oh, just on that, the homepage poll has just been pushed. So at the end of each feature demo, if you could just answer the poll that has presented on your screen, so we can gauge a bit of an idea about each feature. Thank you very much, guys.
Okay, everybody can see my screen, eh? Okay, so as opposed to a homepage, which is just coming to the product, the workflow approval is a feature that's been there already for, I think, at least a year. And there has been a really good uptake. And I would say because of how easy it is to set up the workflow approval. But at the same time, this current workflow approval is complex. It allows to set up multiple workflows, multiple steps with multiple approvers. And so I'm going to show you how, kind of talk you through the various workflows that you can set up and how easy it is to set up a workflow. Okay, so the first thing, before you can even start creating workflows, you will need to go into your approval settings and choose which processes do you want to enable the approval for. If you're not using the purchase orders, then you don't even need to select that. When you go into the screen, it will be all not selected, so it will be blank, okay? So you will need to basically choose what processes you want to include in your workflow approval. And then if you select in purchase orders and purchase invoices, then there is the setting to enable the exact matching, which will then enforce the exact matching of a PO when the PO, when invoices or PO is progressed to the invoice state. Okay, so what that means is just if your PO or if your PI or invoice, purchase invoice, is slightly different, whether it's additional item or whether it's additional delivery charge or whatever else, you would have to go back to the order and update the order, push that order through the workflow, and then come back and match it to the invoice. But if that doesn't happen and you don't want to worry about that, you can just switch that off and that will be okay. Okay. You can still set the tolerances in the workflow itself when you create in one. Then there is this setting for the integrated products, which means that if you have any products that you've integrated with AccountsIQ and the POs or PIs invoices come in from other systems already approved, you can either select or unselect if you want to either push them through the approval or not. Okay. And then at the end, you just need to enter the email address of a person who would be receiving some sort of communication in cases when something goes wrong, maybe when the document goes into admin required state, the administrator or the person whose email entered here will be receiving those notifications and emails. Okay, once everything is selected, unselected, whatever else entered, then you hit save. There is also a little guide me through here as well. For every new feature what we are building right now, we are always adding guide me just to help you to orientate where do you need to start, what do you need to do for any feature that you want to implement. Okay, so that's your first step. You populate the approval settings and then you can go, just leave that, yeah. Then you can go into your workflows and approvers and start building it. So first, before you can go and create your workflows, create your approvers. So there is a list already here, but to create an approver, you literally hit that button, then come into this field and select your approver from the list. Okay, the email address will be populated. You can enter the job title, that's optional, and as you can see, it's marked as optional. You can also either enable or leave it as disabled the use of substitute. Use of substitute would be helpful if you know that the annual leave is coming up for this main approver, or if somebody fell ill and you know that they're going to be out, let's say for a week, and you need to push the documents through the approval. So you can then enable that, select your substitute. The substitute must be already an approver already. And then you pick the dates from when to when this period of substitution should last. And then once you select it, then you can create or save that approver. This use of substitute could be also added at a later stage. So when you're creating approver, you don't have to set the substitute right away, okay? It can be enabled at a later stage. There is also the preferences for how the approver would like to receive the notifications. Email is always defaulted, but if the person prefers to receive their approval notification in their mobile app, you select that, and then that will send the invitation to link to the mobile app. Okay, then there is also a setting to prevent this approver from approving their own documents, and that could be in cases where the approver has to create either a purchase order in the system. Maybe it's a regular task, maybe it's not, but in those cases that could be prevented. And then, of course, if you prevent it, then you have to also select the person who should be then doing it. So basically nominating the designated approver, okay, for those cases. So that's how you create an approver. And once you created all the approvers, so you have the list, then you can go to your workflows and start creating your workflows. Okay, again, here is the guide me. It will guide you through all the steps and gives you a short video on how to create and manage your workflows. Then workflow scenarios. So those are links to the help article documentation. Okay, so take time and read and watch just to kind of get familiar and be up to speed with the feature. Okay, workflows. This new feature, we already had the workflow approval before, but it was more of a one approver or the other. There were no multiple steps, so it was more kind of rigid, more limited to either a limit or approver, and person had to be linked to this or that. So this feature is very flexible, but also can cater for many different case scenarios. Okay, so as you can see, we have already set up here a number of, 6 workflows. But the workflows could be created as a one generic, catering for all case scenarios, or anything that is very specific. And as you can see, we have here employee expenses approval. So that was set up specifically to approve the expense claims. Then we have set up engineering equipment approval. So we had that rule there set specifically when the documents come from a specific, whatever was the rules were based there, then it will go through this approval workflow. Okay, and so on. So you can have either one generic with multiple steps, multiple approvers, multiple rules, or some specific. If I, for example, can show you, let's say, this engineering equipment approval. So, and this would be how you would be setting up any workflow. Too many words. So when creating approval workflow, you give it a name, and this is the name here. Then you would have to set up the process. Okay, in this case, the purchase order was selected. Of course, once you created and activated the workflow, you cannot change the process. Just to give you a little insight on what's coming, we at the moment we don't have the copy function of the workflow where you can change the process, but very soon that option is coming. Okay, so you will be able to copy the workflow and then change the process only on a non-active workflow. Okay, but right now, so you give it a name.
That's something, Ellen, that's something that the existing customer base has requested quite a lot. It's bubbled up to the top, guys. It's that it's great that you can duplicate, but I need to be able to duplicate and change the process. We have a couple
in cases where you're creating for a PO process,
exactly,
but then you want to replicate for
here.
PI, yes, that's very
exactly
helpful.
We have a couple of questions here as well saying it's a great feature, but could we apply the same to purchase orders, which is we will be able to do very soon,
and it's coming really like very shortly.
Very shortly. Thanks, Ellen.
So after selecting the process, then you can choose to enable the auto approval or not. If you don't enable, of course, you don't need to worry about the amount, but if you enable, then you need to set the limit. So what is it, up to 10, 50, or 100, or whatever else, the amount that if document come in with that amount, it will be just auto approved. It doesn't need to go through the whole process and all steps. Then also you can enable the auto approval invoice within the approval tolerance. So imagine if you created the PO and then once it's approved, now you have the invoice to match to that PO, and the invoice is actually has a slight difference. Yeah, so you can set the tolerance here, and we allow here 3 different kind of types. So based on the net amount, on the gross amount, and the percentage. So if the values of your POs and PIs are high, you might want to either maybe enable a percentage, maybe 1%, 2%. If it's different, then it's okay not to go through the whole process of reapproving. Or you can leave it as 0, and then every single invoice would have to be reapproved when it's coming against the purchase order. Okay, so that's your approval, auto approve invoices when they're linked to the orders. Now, so this is just a kind of a header of the workflow, but then you have to build the rules. Yeah, so you now need to create steps. Okay, so you can create as many steps, and I will show you just in another workflow that you can have many, many steps. So when you're in the step, you give it a name, and then you can choose what do you want to base it on. So for now, we have BI codes, dimension codes, GL codes, and supplier. Okay, so whatever you choose will appear here as a drop down. So if I include GL, as you can see now, I have a drop down whether I want to include or exclude something, and then a list. There is a select all or search. Okay, so if I consultant, so as you can see, it's a very easy search, and then you can select those all searched. Okay, so once you've selected what you want to base your step on, then you select the approver. Okay. Limit from will be based on what you selected in your auto approval. Okay. But then you can either set the limit to or select no limit, no upper limit for this approver. Okay. Then whatever you decided to base your rules on, then you select whatever the elements. Okay. And at that point, so I'll unselect, you can save and then go and add another step and go on and add another step, add another approver or various approvers. So this is how you're building up your steps to create a fully working approval workflow.
Let's navigate into one that's already there, Ellen, and we can show an existing one with a multi-step.
General non-PO or purchase orders. Okay. So as you can see, there are 3 steps. Okay. So first one covers the budget holders, and the step was called budget holders. Yeah. And it was based on dimension codes, which is your dimensions, and those dimension codes that in this case, it's a department. Okay. So as you can see, there are number of approvers. All of them have, it looks like the same limit, but because all of them are responsible for approving various documents for various departments. Okay, that's what's the difference. So this is your step, first step. You select all your approvers, enter limits, and then decide which departments, in this case, they can be approving documents. But then also there is a decision mode, which you then need to select. Do you want to all must approve if limits apply or any? So in this case, if there was a let's say invoice with multiple departments in the document, yeah, and there were 2, let's say, approvers that only could approve. Do you want one any, let's say, one approving for all, or do you want actually both, or let's say both 2 people need to approve? So this is your choice to make. And then also there is one where once the document comes in, or once it's recorded, the person who is recording just needs to select. So that's the manual selection of approver. So that's also available. Okay.
Brilliant, Ellen. Thanks. I'm just conscious of time.
Of the time. Okay.
Yeah, that's okay. We're 12:39, so we're kind of giving. So if we have a little think about what's left, we'll give 10 minutes to the Q&A. So guys, if you have any questions, fire them in. We have a good few there already. We're going to show PO, an overview of the PO automation now, and then I'm going to touch on, after that, just very quickly touch on non-financial metrics and sidebar changes. Okay, so just a workflow poll there. If you could engage with that, that would be super. And then we'll do a very quick whiz around of PO automation. Okay, thanks guys.
Okay. Should I just wait or jump straight in? Just one second.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
Okay.
We'll roll.
So next one, and this is now in the system also, automation. So right now, and as you can see, the guide me also there. Right now, we have the PO emailing automation already in the system, but we're also working on the approval reminders. And that's what's in the system telling you that it's coming soon. Okay. Later on, we will work on others, but what approval reminders will also do, it will be, so you will be able to, once you set up your workflows, and now it's all with approvers, and now you're waiting. So for some, in some organizations, approvers could be approving very fast, and, but some people need to be reminded. So the approval reminders will allow to set up a schedule based on number of days after the document was sent, and then on a daily basis reminding your approvers to approve documents. Okay, there will be, so the approval request will be coming out like on a document per document basis, but the reminders will have something that you would be able to look at all your documents, like a list of documents waiting your approval, and you would be able to then approve from that kind of list. Okay, so that's what's coming. But what we already have, the auto emailing approval. Oh, sorry, auto emailing of POs. Okay, what it means that you can set up a rule that, so I would go into new automation, but I'll just talk through the existing one already. Okay, name the rule. Okay, and as you can see, the rules are based on when something happens, and if something happens, then this is what should happen. Okay, so it's like when, if, and then, like all other automations are set up. So we give it a name, then we are selecting what we want when something happens. So in this case, when PO approved and PO edited and PO canceled. You could be just selecting when PO approved and it's edited, what should happen. And then maybe it's in a separate when PO approved and PO canceled. So you could set up probably like 2 or 3 PO automations. Okay, so you selected these, then you go, okay, now I need to select which suppliers. And so again, you can either select many, all, or break them into separate automations. Okay, there are 2 quick selects kind of options. So if you don't know what you want to start with, at least if you have, let's say, suppliers with that PO required flag, you can go select that, and only suppliers where actually that flag is enabled will be selected. Okay, and then once you selected your suppliers, then you can either include the business email or primary contact email to which email address the PO should be sent, and this would be reading from the supplier master screen. Okay.
And Ellen, we have a question that I might just answer while I take the
Mhm.
opportunity while we're in the screen. It's and it's about an attachment. Can we attach our standard T and CCs
Yeah.
to the PO? Okay.
Yeah.
So Neil, just in relation
You
to
see
that,
there?
we can actually attach, if you're using this automation, and basically based on the selected suppliers and the rules based, you can actually attach T's and C's, and with every PO that is auto emailed out of the system, it will also send the terms and conditions. So I just took the opportunity to show you that while I was there.
Yeah.
Okay.
And of course, you can see the person who needs to see. Let's say it was sending to suppliers, but I don't know, department head needs to see it. So just you can see somebody here. Okay, so there is a little preview. It's just a kind of a picture. It's not interactive, but this is just a preview of the email that will be sent. Okay, and then by saving this automation, you're activating it. Okay. And then once you start sending POs for approval, once they're approved, they will be automatically sent to suppliers. And here you will see the number of emails. I think on another database, demo database, we had a very good number there, but this will be just telling you how much you know, how many POs were sent and how much
Yeah,
time
I
you
think it's
saved by
exactly, it's a
not
nice
going there.
visual. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a nice visual to say, well, if I hadn't got this automation in place, this is the amount of emails that I would have had to send manually. So,
Yeah.
which is Ellen, thank you so much for that. That's great just to get an insight. So that's kind of a whole flow. Paul just popped up there again, guys. So that's a whole flow of like how you can automate your workflows, and off the back of approving on POs, how you can actually automate the email and activities that add around it. And as Ellen said, we put out a poll into the system, a lot of interest in approval reminders, which will be delivered before the end of the year. So so it's great, and it's all based on your feedback, which is super. So I'm just going to reshare, if that's okay. I'm going to spend the next 5 to 10 minutes, and then we'll go into the Q&A on some additional features. Ellen, thanks very much. So just confirm that you can see my screen again. A couple of people saying they joined late, so probably didn't get the opportunity to see the homepage live in action. But we will be sending, our fantastic marketing team will follow up with the recording and stuff like that. And like, so listen, we'll be doing a few more of these. A few more of these, so don't worry. And another question, we'll answer all the homepage questions at the end, because this is our big ticket item coming out coming out very soon on beta. So we will ask those questions. So what I'm going to demo actually now is our non-financial metrics. So I don't know whether many of you on the call are kind of how often you're engaging with the dashboards, but we released a feature called non-financial metrics, and you kind of see it with the new badge beside it in setup. So non-financial metrics is designed to basically be able to bring your operational non-financial information into AccountsIQ. And I'm just going to actually show you, this is the setup, okay? Setup screens. So basically you can go in, you can set up what units you need, what the details of what you need, and you can map them to your existing information in the system. I'm not going to go through, as Danielle said earlier, like if you've any questions in relation to a feature, just reach out to us and we'll be there to support. What I'm going to show today is just the kind of dashboard that has been built around it. Okay, so these dashboards are behind permission. So if you're not seeing them, it's basically a conversation with your practice admin to get access to these dashboards. Now we can see based on the adoption of these dashboards, they're having a lot of usage. What I'd like to just draw our attention to as well is that if you're looking at these dashboards and you're going, oh, this is amazing, but my business is a little bit different and I'd like to see this here and that here in edits, we do have a team of reporting a reporting services team that can actually customize these dashboards for you. I suppose for the future go forward and data analysts, because many businesses are hiring data analysts to come in, we will potentially have an editor license that you can do that yourself. But just to draw you into the Help Hub, so there is an ability to request reports and dashboard here through this form. So just to draw your attention on that. So if you're seeing the dashboard, you're like, oh, great, but I just like this little bit extra, or this additional widget, or this is the way we report as a business, we can assist you with that. So just bear that in mind, okay? But I'm just going to bring you into this KPI dashboard here for a moment. And this dashboard went live with the non-financial metrics feature. And essentially what allows you to do, if I just click off that, just kind of bring you back to a period that I have data in for. Okay, so if I go to September, these are standard, these financial ratios and financial KPIs are all based on financial information. Okay, so they're standard. These non-financial metrics will appear when you create the non-financial metrics in that area that I've just shown you. So once they're created, you can import against them. So just if we take a look at a few of these here, which most businesses have, like close to win ratios, if you have CSAT scores that you want to position to your senior leadership team or board, it can be anything, because this is applicable to your business and it's how you set them up. And you dictate the unit, whether it's a percentage, a whole number, a kilowatt, a whatever unit you need, this will appear in the graph. So just very quickly, I have a prepaid, I have like the import template. It's very, very like our budget template. Okay, so essentially I've just downloaded, I've changed the year to 2025. You can import against budget, actual or revised budget. Okay, and I'm going to just take, you know, my non-financial metrics. Let's say if you have actuals and you want to import them into the system. Okay, so if I just save this, and I go into my GL. I have the ability to download a budget. Sorry, that's budget. I always go there. Download a template metric, upload a template metric, or just review, change something small, and that's a review and maintenance screen. So you can pick the year, you can pick the department, and you can pick the individual metric and change the numbers in the screen if it's only a small change. But if you're importing a whole month's data set, we will go into upload. Okay, and I'm going to choose the file. And we'll bring it into here, and I'll select that file and I'll import it. I think that was the one. Okay, file was successfully imported. Thank God for that. So if I go back down to my dashboards and I go to KPIs, it will always bring me back to my current financial period. Okay, so like I said, that's 2025. I had import data sets in here, and you can see sorry, that was on it for the previous year. Sorry. So if I go to previous November, we can see it's rolling for, I put the wrong year on it, didn't I? Yeah, 2024. But as you can see, the data will flow into your data will flow in, and you'll be able to marry it with your financial metrics as well. Okay. Okay, and these are kind of interactive as well, guys. So, and fully customizable based on your business. I think that's kind of what's key here as well. So last year, you can compare it to last year, you can compare it to budget, and you can also compare it to revised budget as well. So coming in, and if I just kind of keep back to a month that we have data in, and we compare it to last month. Okay, you can see what it'll give you is the difference to with trends, and you can also see an up and down a percentage and a little trend line to see how you're performing. Okay, so if a poll pops up there, if you just wanted, that's a quick demo of non-financial metrics. And as I said, if you're interested in customization or using this feature, just log a request through the Help Hub and we can assist you with that. Okay. I'm just going to take you into a very quick, so a lot of you on the call would have provided feedback on new nav. Hopefully you're all navigating a new nav, but just some changes that we're proposing. Okay, very, very quickly. I'm going to take 2 minutes to run through this. This is the prototype from our design system. So just a very, very quick few changes. We are making, as you can see here, there's a bit of a scroll. Okay, nobody wants to scroll to get to things. We're actually change into smaller icons and labels. Okay, now this is becoming wider, but you do have the ability to collapse. Okay, now your tooltips are going to be over. You can still see which thing is there, but that ability, it gives you a lot more space, so there's no scroll. Okay, just going to click into our setup page as well. And for comparison, I'm going to go into setup. We also have to scroll here. Quite a lot of information in setup, a lot of our new features, configuration. So we're going to dedicate a setup page that this is coming soon as well. So as you can see, we're able to kind of click through to things. So this is only a prototype, but you can see that a lot more easier to see, a lot more kind of navigation clarity. So that change is being made as well. Favorites is the only thing that will still have a kind of sub menu, but the biggest change is as you hover today, this kind of sub menu is coming out. We've got a lot of feedback over that, so thanks, guys. We sent a usability test out to some of our users during the week, and we got really good engagement. But essentially what it's saying is that actually nobody's using that sub menu. They're just going through the tabs to basically perform their key actions. What we're doing is we're introducing a little smaller menu, so you can see in comparison. Okay, if I just open that up and drag that over, okay, the size of that blue menu, if I go to the size of that blue menu in comparison to this menu, is considerably smaller. Okay, so nice neat menu. It's not taking over your workspace based on your feedback. Also purchases, also you can kind of see a nice little neat menu and get an idea of those changes. I think that's the changes inside nav, and we might have a poll on that, Karis. Would like your opinion on those changes. You might have been a part of the original feedback, and hopefully you're happy seeing those changes come into play very, very soon. And lastly, before we go into last 5 minutes of questions, I'm just going to draw your attention to our new feature ideas and roadmap, okay? I have a poll because I'm interested. We released this feature basically to give you guys the voice of what we do next. In here, we have features that's gathering feedback. On the roadmap, we have a couple of questions around FX and stuff and what's in progress. So you can see all of these, a lot of these features that we spoke about today are in there. In there in vote because it's going to dictate a lot of what we do. And if you have any questions even around a feature and whether it's going to solve the problem for you, just come in here, speak to us. We are resourcing product so that we can get back to people a lot. So when a feature goes into the pipeline, we are notifying people when it moves into a development stage or a discoverability stage or a discovery stage. So we are doing blanket communications when something changes stages, but we're getting a lot more proactive now. And yeah, so engagement in here. And if you want to see what has been released, come in here and it'll show what we've released to date, okay? So engagement in here is really, really key. So I'm going to close the share. I'll click back and put our nice, lovely homepage back on the screen and we'll go into the Q&A if that's okay. So, let me see, Q&A. I need to stop share. Oh, here we are, questions. Stop share and Q&A.
Yeah, I think, Sinead, there's already a few questions. There's lots of questions in there, and Helen has done a good job at answering some of the generic ones in the background. So thank you, Helen. But I think she's left the ones open about the products and the features that you're talking about today. So
Super.
if you wanted to go through those ones.
So when is the new homepage likely to go live or be available to us for beta? I love the fact that you want beta because that's the engagement that we want. It's very, very close to beta. I would say weeks. We're firming up some final kind of widgets. We agreed to kind of draw a line in the sand with the widgets and then go to our customers to validate that the widgets was needed. So Neil, I would say weeks. Based on the initial poll, if it's something that you're interested in, we will add you to that feature in our kind of listen portal. So, and it's if you're interested, if you've said you're interested, what we will do is we'll use that basis of people to go out to with the initial beta phase. So you should be hearing a communication and we'll switch it on for you for beta. Okay. Can the refresh be automatic on the homepage instead of manually clicking on the refresh button? Like each time we go to the page, it gets automatically refreshed. So Ellen, we've had many conversations about the refresh piece. So that person is anonymous, but yeah, the refresh is automatic on all your activity tiles. Okay, where you might need a manual refresh is on the ones that are dragging quite a lot of data, like your debtor position, your creditor position. It has to pull through a lot of accounts to make sure. So the manual refresh is there more for the insights tiles, but the activity tiles should always have a live snapshot. There's a cache, but it should have a quite up-to-date live snapshot. So there shouldn't be much refreshing that you'll have to do. Now we'll get better over time, obviously, with feedback from our customers. Yeah, with feedback from our customers, but yeah, from the initial beta stage, that's what we're looking to hear as well. So if you're interested, give us a thumbs up on the hopefully you've answered on the poll and just reach out to us through our portal. You can cast a little vote in the portal on the homepage if you're interested in getting it for beta. So if you give us a thumbs up, we'll naturally reach out to you for beta. Ellen, the next one, it sounds like that they're on old approval. So my purchase approver setup looks completely different to workflow approval screen in the presentation. Do I need to tweak a sentence somewhere? I'm guessing that it could be the old approval engine that you're still using. I'm just wondering if there's any yeah, Neil, reach out to us again. If you're on the new, we can obviously it should be switched on, it should be available in settings, but it sounds like you're still on the old engine, because if you're on the new, you would be seeing the exact same screen. There's not a variant of that screen. It's just that screen within the new engine. Okay. Is your new approval? Oh, it's another Another question, yeah, is the new approver setup only on the upgraded version? We have the basic version, and approver setup has far less features. 100%. If you reach out to us, like I said, through the ideas and roadmap portal, we can arrange to get that new feature. You should be seeing it already. And if you know who your account manager is, please just reach out and if you're not seeing it, we can arrange that. It sounds like you're on the old approval engine, which is far less flexible than the new one. I think we've answered this by going through, but thanks, Ken. He loves the new approval workflow feature. It's a great feature, but the ability to apply the process, copy the process, Ellen. So that's coming very soon. Ellen, how long would you say, just roughly, how long is that? Like weeks away? You're muted. Sorry, you're on mute.
Copy new processes coming with the great notes.
Oh, perfect. Okay, yeah. So it's kind of weeks away. The guys are deep in that now. So you should get a notification of that if you've kind of liked that. We'll let you know. We'll attach your interest to the feature, and you'll automatically be notified. Nice one around here about FX daily uploads be available. So Rhonda, one of our core engineering teams are working on FX updates as well. We're changing our provider to XE. It'll be automatic. The amount of time that you will save not having to put it onto transactions if you're using our consolidation manager, it's a vast amount of time that will be saved. We would be hoping to get that into beta by the end of this year as well. So just for time expectations, okay? They're kind of deep in engineering. So how do you join? The users will be request activities become available for the song. Or how do you join? So David, what we're going to be doing when we're going out to beta, we're going to embed a guide that will say want more tiles. Okay, and it'll be a free form box where if you have tile ideas, if you have insights ideas, we would be capturing them through that in product form. And that's where a lot of the value of these tiles will be naturally coming out. So yeah, so you will see that. And if you've give the thumbs up for interest, we should be seeing that as well. Do you have the dashboard filter for period or year? Yeah, it's for both in some cases. So each dashboard is attributable whether it's a financial period or year to date. But like I said, if you need that extra step of customization on the dashboard, yeah, if you need that extra step of customization based on, and this answers the next question from Callum, based on they report bi-monthly, 100% our reporting team. So just go to Help Hub, go into My AccountsIQ and request any changes that you would need in customization of standard reports in the system or standard dashboards in the system as well. I think we've come to the end. And Joe, apologies, this isn't a topic, but is there any training available on cash flow module? Joe, if you want any training on any part of the system, it's the same routine. If you go up to Help Hub, My AccountsIQ, there's a couple. I'm going to quickly share my screen before we drop off, guys, just to, so in here, sorry, this notifications, product notifications. So in here, if you quickly go to My AccountsIQ, we have a couple of options here. If you have integration queries, you want to adopt a new feature, you want to add an entity, you want to request instructor-led training, you want to request a customized report to dashboard, or meet your account manager, any of these are selectable from the in-product Help Hub option. So I think I've got to Helen, thanks for answering the others. So the homepage is available. It's imminent, guys. So if you're interested, we're more than welcome to have the chats with you. Danielle, over to you to wrap up, if that's all right. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. And thank you, Sinead and Ellen, for that. That was just really insightful and just a great run through of some of the new features that have been released. I mean, Sinead and Ellen both mentioned it throughout their presentation, but one of the key things that is central to AccountsIQ is that we want to hear from you. We want your feedback. We want you to engage with us, and we want to help you drive the product and the direction it goes in. So really, just to wrap up, just to confirm some of the actions from this meeting, from this webinar, is that we'd love you to share your feedback. As Sinead showed you how to navigate to it, you can just dive in and directly give your feedback within the product. And we're also really keen to get you to vote on the product roadmap as well. So look at the features that have been already kind of listed there, but you can also then create a new one if you have some of your own ideas as well. And then also reach out to your account manager. Now, all of the account managers are proactively reaching out to customers, you know, as they can. However, obviously we've lots of customers, so they're getting around to everybody over the next couple of months. But if you have anything that you wish to discuss, anything from today that you'd like to go through in more detail, just reach out to your account manager and you can book in a slot. And equally, just at the end of it, just to conclude, that we will be sending out a follow-up email to this webinar, and we'll also be embedding the recording of the session. So please feel free to share it with, you know, the rest of your teams and the finance teams. If they have missed the session and you think it would be beneficial, please share it internally so everybody can get a view of the new product features that have been released this year. Okay, and with that, thank you everybody for attending, and yeah, and we'll catch up again soon on one of these webinars.
Cheers, guys.
Yeah.
Thanks for
Thank
attending.
you.